Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley, and this is Monet Everyday. This channel is going to be centered around natural hair, and I may throw a few other things in there, but it's going to be mostly natural hair. And before I get started, I have a couple of disclaimers for you guys. Number one is that I am not a professional. This channel was birthed out of all the questions that I receive on a daily basis concerning my natural hair, and everything that I've learned is as a result of trial and error on myself. So I am not a professional. And number two, I'm going to be sharing things on this channel that worked for me. That might not necessarily mean that they will work for you. So just keep in mind that everyone's hair is different and that just because something worked for me may not necessarily mean that it'll work for you. But I am here to share what does work for me and what does not work for me. So just wanted to throw those disclaimers out there before I get started. Today I'm going to be sharing my 10 tips for natural hair growth. So we want our hair to grow long and strong and healthy. So I have some things that I believe are the top things that help my hair to grow long, strong, and healthy. So I'm going to be sharing those with you today. Tip number one is to be consistent. So to be consistent, that means to establish a routine to me. So I have a yearly, a monthly, a weekly, and a daily routine. So when it comes to a yearly routine, like I have a certain amount of times per year that I trim my hair. I have a certain amount of times per year that I straighten my hair. For me, I only straighten my hair 3 times a year. And it's usually Easter, my birthday, and Christmas. So having that routine of trimming a certain amount of times a year, only using heat. I go the whole summer without heat. Number one, because it doesn't make sense for where I live here in Georgia to straighten my hair in the summer. And for two, because heat is damaging to your hair and you can benefit greatly from going long periods of time without heat. So that's an example of a yearly routine that I have. For a monthly routine, you might want to deep condition your hair once a month or do a hot oil treatment once a month. Weekly, I wash my hair. So I have a wash day weekly where I deep condition, I condition, I'm making sure I give my hair everything that it needs on that one day a week. And then daily, I'm making sure that my hair has enough moisture and that I'm protecting my hair at night. So I think that the number one thing when it comes to growing long, strong, healthy hair is to be consistent and to have a routine. And for me, if I devote at least one day a week, and it does take a full day, but if I devote at least one day a week to taking care of my natural hair, I find that my hair benefits from it. Tip number two is to limit the use of heat. And I know that I sound like a hypocrite when I'm sitting here with my hair straightened. This is one of those 3 times a year that I do straighten my hair. But the truth is, direct heat is very damaging for natural hair. So you want to definitely make sure you're limiting the use of hot tools, blow dryers, anything like that can definitely be damaging to your hair if you use it in excess. And you can even get heat damage from using it one time, but it's a risk that most of us are willing to take. But if you're using heat on a consistent basis, your hair is definitely going to be damaged from it. So you want to limit the use of direct heat, curling irons, flat irons, blow dryers with high heat. You also want to be mindful of the temperature of the water that you're using to wash your hair, because you can get heat damage from using water that is too hot to wash your hair. And also, being out in the sun too long without your hair being protected can cause a lot of heat damage as well. So in addition to flat ironing and straightening and curling, water and sun can definitely be damaging to your hair too. Some good uses of heat are hot oil treatments, and if you add heat to your hair while you have deep conditioner in, it can actually help that deep conditioner penetrate. So those are some good uses of heat. But as far as direct heat, too hot water and staying in the sun, you want to make sure that you're limiting that. Tip number 3 is to moisturize. And I will say repeatedly that the number one thing that natural hair needs is moisture. Moisture comes from water. So when you're looking for moisturizing products, make sure that water is the first ingredient. Moisture doesn't come from cream, gel. Moisture comes from water. Moisture is water. So you want to make sure that the first ingredient in your moisturizer is water, because that's going to be a good moisturizing product. Curly hair is harder to moisturize than straight hair. So our scalp naturally creates oils, and In order for those oils to travel to our ends, if it's curly, it's gonna have to work a lot harder to get to the end. So that's why the ends of our hair tend to be dry and brittle. So we have to add moisture to the ends of our hair because the natural oils can't travel down as easily. So we want to make sure that, especially when we're in our hair in its natural state, that we're moisturizing on a regular basis, because dry hair gets weak and it breaks off. So you want to definitely make sure that you're adding enough moisture to your hair and that you're moisturizing in the proper way and sealing sealing in that moisture with an oil. We all know that oil and water don't mix. So when you add your moisture, which is your water, and you add oil on top of that moisture, it actually locks that moisture in. So making sure that you're moisturizing in the proper way and often enough is the number one thing that your natural hair is going to need. Number 4 is to deep condition. And this was a game changer for me. When I started deep conditioning, in addition to using regular conditioner, that's when I saw the most hair growth because my hair was healthier. So when I shampoo my hair, I use a regular conditioner and then I will follow up that regular conditioner with a deep conditioner. And so deep conditioners are very different from regular conditioners. If you look at the back of the jar on a regular conditioner, you may only need to leave it in for 3 to 5 minutes or so. But deep conditioners, you're going to need to leave in for like 15 minutes or longer. So that's one big difference between a conditioner and a deep conditioner. Another difference is that a deep conditioner might say a mask or a treatment. So you want to look for those key words that let you know that it goes beyond what a regular conditioner will do. So you're definitely going to want to find a schedule for deep conditioning that works for you. For me, I deep condition once weekly. So when I shampoo my hair and condition, I go ahead and deep condition. So once a week for me seems to be good, and my hair seems to enjoy that. So definitely find what works for you, but keep in mind that a deep conditioner and a regular conditioner are two different things. Tip number 5 is to take care of your ends. So this means trimming them when necessary, because split ends, there is no remedy for them. They have to be cut off. So if you do not cut off split ends, your hair will continue to split up the hair shaft and you will definitely experience more breakage than needed. So you want to make sure that if you have split ends that you're going ahead and trimming those off. But you're also going to want to make sure that you're giving your ends the proper moisture. As I mentioned earlier, dry hair gets brittle and it breaks off. It's very weak. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your ends strong. Remember to baby your ends, because the ends of your hair are the oldest part of your hair, and they also experience the most trauma throughout the day. So right now, the ends of my hair are touching this shirt. If I'm moving my head back and forth, that's causing friction, and that's also drying out the ends of my hair. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping my ends moisturized, keeping my ends up and off of my back and my neck as much as possible, because think about how much stress our hair goes through during the day. Like sometimes we zip our jackets and our hair gets caught, or just a lot of trauma that the ends of our hair go through, and they're the oldest part. They've been with us for the longest. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of your ends, because if your ends are breaking off as your hair is growing, you're not going to experience any length retention, and you're going to think your hair isn't growing because it's breaking off as it's growing. So you definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of those ends. Tip number 6 is to maintain a healthy scalp. So our hair grows from our scalp. So if our scalp is not healthy, our hair is not going to grow out healthy. So a healthy scalp means a clean scalp. When you think of a hair follicle in your scalp that your hair grows out of, if it is this big but you have dirt and debris and product buildup, it literally creates, like, all that stuff creates a layer around that hair follicle, and so the space that is this big that your hair usually grows out of becomes this big due to the dirt and oil buildup. So you want to make sure that you're cleansing your scalp on a regular basis so that your hair follicle, they can actually grow out thinner because the follicle is smaller due to dirt and oil. So you want to make sure that you're going in and cleansing your scalp on a regular basis. You want to make sure that your hair is not dry, that your scalp is not dry. Make sure that you're using oil on your scalp and doing scalp massages every now and then. That's going to stimulate the blood flow, and that's going to stimulate healthy hair growth. So making sure that your scalp is clean and that it's not dry and that you're stimulating the blood flow to your scalp is going to be very important to healthy hair growth. Tip number 7 is to detangle with care. And for me, because my hair is so thick and curly, this means detangling when it is wet and when it has product. Usually conditioner or deep conditioner, something that's going to have a lot of slip and allow the comb or brush, whatever I'm using to detangle, to easily glide through my hair. You're definitely going to want to be gentle when you detangle because you can definitely cause breakage and you can rip out some hair strands if you're not being gentle. So you want to make sure you're setting aside time to detangle your hair. You're definitely not going to want to detangle your hair when you're in a rush because you're going to cause more breakage than you need to because you're in a rush. So you want to make sure that you're detangling your hair when you have the time to do so and be gentle. And then beware of the single strand knots. So every natural girl gets single strand knots because our hair is so curly. So the single strand will curl and tie around itself. And they call them fairy knots because they look so small that a fairy could have tied them. But they are single strand knots and you have to cut those out. You cannot untie them. Um, so you definitely want to make sure that if you have any of those, you're going ahead and trimming those off because snagging those with a comb or a brush can cause breakage as well. So making sure you detangle your hair properly is key to healthy hair growth. Tip number 8, and this is one of those things that, again, I say take it or leave it. You don't have to always take my advice, but what worked for me was to limit my visits to my hairstylist. I had to take some time off from my hairstylist to get to know my hair. A lot of times we go and visit our stylist every 2 weeks, and then in between time we don't know how to take care of our hair, and so our hair suffers because of it in the meantime. And I've heard, everyone has a hairstylist story to where, oh, they trimmed my hair too short, or they did something with, like, they used keratin on my hair and now my hair is damaged. And if you learn to do your hair yourself, you can eliminate some of that. I'm all for a good natural hairstylist who actually have learned how to deal with natural hair. I know a lot of them personally and they're great hairstylists, but for me, I had to learn how to maintain my hair on my own. And so I definitely benefited from limiting my visits to my hairstylist. That may not be for everyone, and I hope no one gets offended because I love all my hairstylist friends. Uh, but for me, I had to limit my visits to my stylist. Tip number 9, and this is more of a mental tip, and that is do not compare yourself to another natural girl. Everyone's hair is different, as I said in the beginning of the video, and you definitely don't want to sit and compare and say, "Oh, I wish my hair did what her hair does. I wish I had the hair that she has." Everyone's hair is different, and what you have is beautiful. So you have to learn how to love what you have and rock what you have and work with what you got, because there are certain things that my hair just will not do. My edges don't want to behave, so my hair doesn't react well to edge control. So a lot of the sleek, slick back hairstyles that a lot of girls do, I can't do because my edges are like, oh, what's that? Edge control? That's cute. Let's curl up. So, I can't get a lot of these sleek, slick hairstyles. I just let my edges be. And I've learned, that's just one thing that they don't want to do is lay down. So I just kind of embrace it and let them do their thing. So you have to just learn what you have, love what you have, and figure out what works for you. Figure out how to get your hair looking the absolute best that it can be. And then you'll just start to appreciate what you have so much more. So that is tip number 9. And then my last and final tip is to be patient. So your hair is not going to grow 6 inches overnight. It's not even going to grow 6 inches in 1 month. But if you're being consistent and you're doing the right things to promote healthy hair will always grow. So do focus on the health of your hair, because that's what's going to get you the results that you want to see. And don't quit. Just keep at it. I went natural back in 2000. 2011. So what you're seeing here is 2019. So that this is 8 years of hair growth. So what a lot of people don't realize is that I didn't get here overnight. I was doing the right things on a weekly, consistent basis for 8 years to get where I am. So um, definitely don't quit. It's not going to happen overnight, but just be patient. And along with that, like for me, I don't try to focus on the length so much. You won't see me doing like length checks and everything on this channel. I'm more so about the health of your hair because healthy hair is going to grow. So um, I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with you guys. And if you have anything that you want to see or any questions for me, this channel is for you guys. So leave that down below and I'll make sure that I address everything that you guys want me to address. Um, until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.